Join me on my sealed-only challenge, originally started by the great Yugioh Lord Nim Nim. Each episode will improve our deck to show the common folks just how kings and queens rule with an iron fist. Spending just a measly £30 a week on sealed products to increase the might of our forces. Watch this novice commander become the next great warlord. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to this, the sealed only series from us. As you can probably tell from the title or the thumbnails, we're playing Monarchs. We're going to reign supreme over all those other boys and girls playing Dragon Links or Elder Lich. Bitches, we got the kings and queens going here. So, for the first episode, we are doing a little bit more expensive here. These aren't that easy to get hold of now. I got very lucky and I was able to get these for a sensible price, if you might say. So the first episode is going to cost 44.59 for this, just so we can cover our bases in terms of decks, and got ourselves a pack of sleeves because we're not savages here, you know. We're going to look after our cards a little bit at least. But we'll go for the first pack, show you what's inside, and then after that we'll come back to the deck profile. So I'm sure some of you people are saying, don't do it, these packs are now worth like £25 already. Don't do it, you savage. Guys, we're doing it for the memes, we're doing it for the fun. We're opening one up, getting ourselves a Yugioh from Sealed. Little deck, little playmat of awesomeness. In all fairness, I've seen this before and I wish someone would turn it into a cloth mat because it looks so nice. Like, I legit want that as a cloth mat. If anyone out there actually makes cloth mats and also like link it maybe, I'll happily buy one off you. Little rule book here, but yeah, alright. So, I have in mind what we're going to do with the deck in the long haul. I've already got some plans about what things we need to buy to sort of complete the deck. There is a certain couple of cards that aren't in here that we could do with having in here, that we really need to get a hold of at some point in the future, but here we go. So, we have Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. Going to be a 3 of in the deck. Erebus, the Underworld Monarch, going to be a 3 of in the deck. Yugioh, Underworld Squire. I think we're going to play this at 2 in the deck. Ida, the Heavenly Squire. I think this is going to be a 3 of in the deck. Pantheism of the Monarchs. 3 of in the deck. Now we're not going to play a Cassius. I mean, what we'll do for now, because we obviously haven't got much to put in here otherwise. But I think Cassius is going to get removed later in the game. We won't be playing any Zaborg. Sorry, Zaborg, we tried. Grand Merge, the Rock Monarch. Sorry, bud, you're out. One of the coolest monarchs, but sadly, not for us. Mobius, you're out. Dalius, I'm going to use one of these, so you can stay. Razor, the Storm Monarch. I'm sorry, bud, you're out. Lucius, the Shadow Vassal. I'm sorry, you're out. Mithra, the Thunder Vessel. We're going to use one of these, which is in. Landra of the Rock Vessel. I'm sorry, you're out. S to the front, you're out. Mr. Firestone, you're out. Dovers, you're out. Snatcher, you're out. I swear, like every single like boss monster deck has like these. No, you're out. A Dandelion, sadly you're out. A Math Magician, that's not bad, but you're still out. A Level Eater, still out. Balfader, you're out. Rainbow Karibo, you're definitely out. Domain of the Monarchs, probably going to be 3 of these. March of the Monarchs, going to be 2 of these. Return of the Monarchs, going to be 2 of these. Stormforth, 3 of these. Strike, no. Tenacity, at least 2 of these. Soul Exchange, no. Enemy Controller, no. Dice Foon, no. Soul Charge, still banned if they got reprinted, no. Prime Monarch, 3 of these. First Monarch, none of these. Escalation of the Monarchs, none of these. The Awaken, none of these. Eruption, 1 of these. But Order of the Emperor, none of these. Pinpoint Guard, none of these. And a token. I mean, a token, we're definitely going to play a token, come on guys. So, give me a minute, we'll come back to the deck profile in just a sec.
A few moments later.
So alright then guys, this is our 40 card variant, no extra deck, currently no side deck. We will be doing a side deck in the future, and these cards are trying to escape me already. I'm not that bad guys, go back there. Right, so our deck list will be, for now, 3. Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. Boss monster in the deck, same with Cerberus. They essentially find each other, and they're just some badass lords. Ida, the Heavenly Squire. Good one for one target. Great for getting the required bosses out. We're going to play 3 Eidos for now, just because we essentially just need to fill the deck with the extra cards. After we've done the deck profile, we'll be going over like what we're looking at for in terms of actual deck building. We have one-offs. We have 1 Thanos, the Firestorm Monarch. We have 1 Cassius, the Shadow Monarch. We have 1 Mithra, the Thunder Vessel. And we have 1 Mobius, the Frost Monarch. In all fairness, currently during our meta, there are quite a few control decks that we're going to have issues with, such as Eldritch as well as Infernoble Knights. Yes, popping some of the back row is not going to be very good for the Infernoble Knights, but it will help us try to thin them from actually trying to rip our hands to pieces. 3 Pantheon of the Monarch. Obviously, he just got released off the ban list from 2 to 3, making this deck very good. Personally, it also helps things like True Draco. So, fingers crossed it doesn't go too crazy and we can keep this at 3 for a bit longer. At least what we're doing in these King of Games tournament, yeah? Field card, Dawn of the True Monarchs. Great card, can't complain about it. March of the Monarchs. Tribute summoned monsters you control cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. In all fairness, I have an idea about this deck to make it more of a, essentially a 37 card variant as opposed to being a 40 card variant. And you're thinking, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is we're going to play Public Extravagance. The Monarchs don't necessarily play an extra deck, which means that you have 15 cards of fun. And if we can happily turn that into draw power, that's 5 cards of extra draw power we can have there. So, something we can consider. I'm going to play 3 of the Return of the Monarchs. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. You contribute some special monsters you activate from one of these effects. Add from your deck to your hand 1 monster with Return of the Monarchs. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. When you tribute summon a monster, you can activate one of these effects. Add from your deck to your hand 1 monster with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense, with a different name from the top tributed summoned monster. Add from your deck to your hand 1 monster with 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense, with a different name from the tributed summoned monster. The tribute summoned monster may be faced up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. You can only use the effect of Return of the Monarchs once per turn. In all fairness, how quick the game is these days, having 3 of these is probably maybe a bit too heavy, but at least that gives us 3 chances of actually being able to use it. Monarch Stormfront. There you go. Once during this turn, will tribute a monster. For a tribute summon, you contribute 1 monster your opponent controls, as if you control it, and you can only activate 1. Monarchs of the Stormfront per turn during this. In all fairness, it's great. Essentially a snatch steal. You can tribute off. Change your heart. You can tribute off. Anything you can think of that basically just gives us an opponent's monster. It's going to be great. That's Tenacity of the True Monarchs. Sorry, Tenacity of the Monarchs. Wheel a monster in your hand with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense. Essentially, a lot of the Monarchs do have this. So, for instance, like Mobius, for instance, he does have the claws. Most of the Monarchs have 1,000 defense, in all fairness. Or 2,800 attack, which will be our original 2 boss monsters here, Eberus and Ethereal, if I can get them out. Show you guys how terrible this is going so far. So yeah, there are boss monsters, obviously, with the extra attack and defense. Add 1 Monarch spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except Tenacity. You can only use the effect of Tenacity once per turn. Again, a lot of these, because they're very strong, you can only use them obviously once per turn, which, you know, gotta make it a little bit fair. The Prime Monarch is going to play 3 of these for now. Once per turn, you can target 2 Monarch spell trap cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into your deck, and then draw 1 card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other Monarch spell or trap card from the graveyard, and summon this card in defense position as a normal monster, fairy type light, level 5, attack 1,000, defense 2,400. This card is not treated as a trap card. You can only use the effect of Prime Monarch once per turn. It's a little bit of protection. Puts a body on the board. Chip it off, won't be too bad. And then we're going to play 2 of the first Monarchs just for deck filler. Let's summon this card as an effect monster, Fiend type Dark, level 6, attack 1,000, defense 2,400. This card is also still a trap card. If summoned this way, you can discard 1 card, then declare 1 attribute. This card becomes an attribute. You can only be treated as 2 attributes for that attributed summon of a monster with the same attribute as this card. If this card was special summoned this way, you cannot special summon monsters except monsters with this card's attribute. So again, if we're struggling, maybe we've basically had our hand ripped apart, get this down. Maybe we've got a Ethereal, we've got an Erebus in hand. Obviously these are 2 tribute summoned monsters. Convert this into either a light or a dark. There you go, you got your tribute. And and then the Eruption of the Monarchs. Activate this card only if you have nodes in your extra deck, and control a tribute summoned monster. Negate the effect of all face-up monsters on the field, while these monsters are face-up on the field, except tribute summoned monsters. During your end phase, if you control no tribute summoned monsters, send this card to the graveyard. Yeah, I mean, it's got a clause. It's always nice to have a clause, because essentially this game needs outs to things. You can't just basically put a board up and go like, you can't do anything about it. But that being said, let's try and get this back to focus. There you go. This is our current deck, guys. We've got 3 tokens to do token things with. We have 40 cards. I'm going to be honest, I don't think we can currently win the game with just this amount of stuff on the board, but I will go over what we're looking at in the near future. So, join me in a second. So, the structure deck didn't come along with Casus the Light Monarch. So, to deal with this, we'd have to pull this card. Now, Casus the Light Monarch is obviously a very, very good card, and we definitely need it for the deck. That being said, trying to get hold of this card is going to be quite difficult. Now, I want this card in the deck, because it's going to make the deck run a bit smoother. It would take the place of at least maybe Eidos, possibly Chaos, Cassius, as well as a few of the other cards in between, such as maybe Mobius, and maybe another of our single-use cards. Now, pulling this card might be more difficult than any of the other things I want to pull. Looking at the prices of this card in terms of like sealed value, each pack will be about £10 each, which is perfectly fine. You can pull 3 packs per episode if that was the case. Try and get this card. Now, we can go 3 different routes here. We can do the special edition of Light of Destruction, which would be £40 per box. So if that's the case, you guys have to be okay with me upping the price on those ones, or we'd have to pull other things and then rotate an extra 10 towards that opening for that week. Number 2, we could go batshit crazy, throw it to the wall, and we can pull OTS 2 packs. Now the chance of me pulling a ultimate rare from an OTS 2 pack is 1 in 25. Now there's 3 ultimate rares in OTS packs, which means that I'd have to have the luck of everyone, not only by pulling the ultimate rare, but by also pulling this ultimate rare, and we want at least one of these. If we want 2 of those, that means it's technically 2 in 6 chance of pulling it, which means I'd probably have to open 150 packs to get that. The other issue with OTS packs is they can be scaled. So we could be buying all these OTS packs and we could never see this card because you can scale OTS packs. Now you might think, who would do such a thing? I'm not saying anyone does. I'm not saying anyone has. I'm just saying like that could be the worst case scenario in terms of trying to buy single packs. I don't know anyone who specifically would just sell me a box of them, so I can't just go like, hey, I'll buy a box for you, £5 a pack. So obviously we have 6 packs per opening. So sadly that can't happen. Obviously OTS 2 as well was 4 years ago now, so the fact that someone's going to have just a random box lying around is probably not going to happen. Now the final route is we can try and get the booster packs from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure Deck 2016. Now, the issue I'm having is people are selling either the packs or people are selling either the sealed decks, but they're not selling sealed boxes of the decks with the packs in. So each pack again will be about £10 each, which is, you know, within reason I guess. But the chances of pulling a common Kuraz the Light Monarch is about 1 in 3. So same odds again, but you know, it's not an ultimate rare, so it should be a lot easier to pull at least one. That being said, the next card we're looking at for the deck profile will be 1 for 1. So we have Ida for our 1 for 1 target, which is a super good card. In all fairness, if that makes one of our opponents, maybe Ash Blossom, the 1 for 1, that's perfectly fine. Try and thin their hand that way. But Ida also likes to be in the graveyard, so it's not necessarily a bad card for us to get hold of. 1 for 1s are a lot more common, and I believe we can get these out of some structure decks, so it's a definite guarantee that we will be receiving that card through that means. So that's something we can look at maybe 1 week, dropping a few packs of something else, and then grabbing the structure deck with the 1 for 1 in. We're also after 3 Allure of Darknesses. Now, we can do this, I suppose, again, 1 of 2 ways. We can either go about the way of getting 3 Shadow structure decks, grabbing an Allure of Darkness common from there, and then that could be that, or we can go the DASA route, which is obviously where this card you can see comes from, and try and pull this as well as a Foolish Burial. So, as I said, we like to see things like Ida in the graveyard. So, if you can 1-for-1 and you can put one in the graveyard, you can use both its effects that way to carry out some very fun plays. Also from DASA, we can be looking for Foolish Burial goods, sending one spell or trap from our deck to our graveyard to only activate the effect of one Foolish Burial goods per turn. So that's where Foolish Burial goods isn't currently limited, or we might be, I'm not too sure. But I think we can play up to 2 in the deck, so we consider. Obviously, if we're going to go the DASA route, we can also look for that, as well as the Reinforcements of the Army, which is obviously add 1 level 4 or lower warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Another searcher for Ida. So that way we'd have Ida, we'd have, with the 1-for-1 target, we'd have the Reinforcement of the Army target. So, as long as we can churn her out, essentially very quickly, it could be very good for the deck. We could also look at using Public Reference. For the, obviously we don't use an extra deck in this deck, so as I said, just use it as continuous draw power. Just try and get as much as we can to flood the flood our banish pile. We don't really benefit from the banishes, but the extra 5 draws over 3 turns would be quite good. We can also look at Reasoning. This deck has quite the variety of levels. We have a level 1 with Ida, we have a level 2 with Eidos, we have, I believe, is it level 2 with the Thunder Vessel, we have a few level 6s, and we have a few level 8s. And in all fairness, if that's the first card you put down on the field, and they have no idea what you're playing, and they just randomly call out a level 4, well, joke's on them. Yeah, I believe Reasoning will be very good in this deck, as we do play at least 4 different, at least three different levels in this deck, which I think would be very useful. So that are things that we are currently looking at in this profile. I believe Reasoning would be coming from a structure deck, which again be guaranteed to pull. Same with a 1-for-1, as I don't think there's many 1-for-1s in newer stuff that we could pull multiple things from. DASA would be our value pack in terms of how many things we can pull from them. So we would be looking at Dark Saviors, which I do believe we'll be able to get a hold of relatively easily compared to a lot of the other stuff. And then yeah, so our biggest pain in the bum will be Koraz the Light Monarch. So that's it for this. Let's go into some gameplay and see how much of a pain in the ass it really truly is. So we'll lose rock, paper, scissors, and we go first, which is a bit strange, but nonetheless I was looking forward to going first either way. So we have a March of the Monarchs, we have a Squire, we have a Heavenly, we have a Cassius as a Shadow, and we have a Uberus. So I'll use the Squire, then get to Uberus, and we start our plays. Because we can do for this turn, so we just stay here for now. Ghost plays a Plague Spreader and a Claw. I'm thinking, like, what the hell kind of the weird variant of Infinite Knights is this? But we gotta go. So there's 3 back row. I'm thinking, okay, let's play for this. So use Heavenly Mummy. Then after that, we try to go out into our next monster. So yeah, get chained. It's fine with me. Just use this, and we'll try and get out our Mobius. I'm thinking, yeah, we'll get rid of the back row. Then obviously realising, oh, we didn't tribute summon it, we just special summoned it. Which means the effects don't activate. B. He gets pushed back to the hand, which is fine. So, for the next turn, we can use it to sort of remove some of that back row. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. He makes a number 96 Dark Mist. Not seen this monster before, this is interesting. Not really sure what it does. I'm thinking this is some kind of very weird deck now. Goes into C 96 Dark Storm. Again, not really sure what's going on. Not really worried about this at the moment. I'm playing some weird deck. I'm playing some goddamn structure decks. Let's see what we can do. All of a sudden, deck mummy's out. Alright, what's going on here? So, activating Domain. He uses his Phasmal Punch to activate his cards. Fine with me. I will shoot someone out to Morpheus or Mubus, and we will get rid of the back row that we can see. Chaining our trap into our hand, and into our field rather, and then we will play through what we can. Now, this is where I'm a bit stuck. He still has the activated attack power, which I didn't realise at the time was a continuous effect of the card. Now we're a bit stuck. Because we don't have any monsters on the field besides this one. Can't tribute out, so we are going to have to wait for a turn. We're going to see what he's going to do now. Another Plague Spreader. We can get into a Nightmare Cerberus. So I'm thinking, oh god, what's going on here? Then we have to wait for our draw. So our draw is... Can we draw a Stormfall? Great. Activate. Then we can activate this in there. We can then activate that to take it to this card pile. Oh, our Banish pile. He activates his Sheepies, which then lets us activate this. And we get our Cerberus, the Underworld Monarch. Great. Now we have Erupt. No effect cards available, boys and girls. Yeah, put the law back in the deck, that's fine with me. And then we are just waiting to go. I'm thinking, you know what? We've got this in the bag, boys and girls. We've got this in the goddamn bag. Smashing that poor Cerberus. God damn. You can look at the scapegoat thinking like, yeah, okay, it's going to take me a few turns, but no, I would do down the scapegoats. Maybe I'll look and get another monster on the field. We'll push through. It's like, oh, Garland Karibo. Yeah, that's fine. No effects available. It's fine with me. It's fine with me. Let's see what we can do. You know, I'm just going to smash into his Linkaribo. You've got no effects, right? Well, apparently, Linkaribo's effect is unaffected by effects being affected. So, game 2. We lose the rock, paper, scissors again. Not a bad hand. Go second. He's got one set. Great, we got Edda, and we'll also use Yugioh on the square. So my plan was this. Activates this. Can't use my effect. Oh, okay. This is fine. Put it two face down and go. You got a ninja. Okay, it's fine with me. Take some damage. Yeah, nothing else I can do. Right, put that down in face. Activate this. Get stopped by Ash. Okay. Let's go to game 3. There's no point sticking through here. We can't do anything. We basically haven't got a handle anything anymore. So we activate these cards here to get go. Got Stormfront going down. Panthism. The Panthers down. Use Stormfront. There we go. Chain it out. There you go. Doing alright. Set up our board for some players. Got Yugioh, the Squire. I'm thinking, alright, I'll chain this. I'll summon this up, and then realised I can't. It's 2 tributes. I'm thinking, oh no. I messed this up now. But this is a strange thing. I thought you could still put things in face of defense position. So I don't know if that's an Yugioh Pro thing. I don't know if that's a rule that got changed a while ago when I wasn't playing the game anymore. Or if it was just never a thing people did, and I'm just getting confused. Because I'm pretty sure you've always put things in face of defense position. Maybe I'm just very confused. We're playing an invoked Shadow deck, and the funny thing is, if I could play the deck, or I was able to play this deck, it counters Shadow so hard that it wouldn't have been fair. But because I wasn't able to actually draw anything during this game, we did get very unlucky. Skill is skill, like, you know, nothing I could do. But it's funny. It's like, I'm here thinking, like, you know, just draw the right card, or any card that will just make me combo. Great. I'm trying to combo out here, best I can. I'm trying to get rid of cards I don't need. Trying to activate cards. Go for domain. Activate the next domain, I believe. So we're going to play. Say we set a march. Set the domain. Activate the next domain. Chain it into this. Chain into our the Prime Monarch. And then we go into the next play. So there we go. Chain it out. There you go. That's our defense position monster. Great. Put 2 monsters down on the field. Even better. As I wasn't sure if the effects of my card would be negated, because obviously it's a double tribute summoned. Having the 2 tributes in the hand is awful. We could have just done just any single, would have been great enough to push through to deck to activate. But I'm able to put it back on the field. So again, we still have 2 defensive monsters still left on the field. They want to try and push through, but they can't. So they have to take out our defense down card. So that's 2 Yugiohs in the grave. We draw our 3rd Yugioh. So at this point, it's just staggeringly awful in terms of what we want to do. We have no plays. We're stuck so hard into this now. As I said, if we drew anything that could have like tributed in, we could have smashed through the back lot. We could have smashed through that play. They would have been able to activate any cards, and we could have actually activated our back row. But since we couldn't tribute a monster in, we were just stuck here, and this was the play. So just waiting for our opponent. I think our opponent starts talking to us and basically tells us how like annoying it is. It's like, dude, you're playing invokes. Like, you constantly just find your cards and carry on. You know, I didn't have much choice in this game of actually playing. But you were very lucky, sir, to get the cards that you needed. Like, was it 3 turns in a row, sir? Sir? So yeah, I found it quite funny that the guy had a bit of a gripe that I could play through. But yeah, I think if I just like drew any other card that wasn't the 2 error bosses, any of the Morbius or the Theseus or the... What else do we have left in this deck that I could have used? Because we haven't used any of the Monarchs besides Yugioh at this point. If we could have used maybe a Cassius, you know, we have some choices we could have gone into, but no. I mean, it's 3 out of 40 cards. There's nothing you can do really in terms of that. We do have 27 cards left in the deck. Get sent out again. Attack. Activate the effect. Get rid of a spell card. Bring it back. It gets banished. Well, sorry, it gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Take damage. Finally, we got Yugioh Eater, the Heavenly Squire. So, draw this card, activate its effect, get ourselves Mithra onto the field. I would have loved to have hoped, there you go, it gets destroyed, so we use its effect to come back, and this is where the guy gets upset, the fact that we can play through his stuff. So, dude, this is a non-extra deck game board. It's not like I can just throw out extra deck monsters, come on. There's nothing I can do here, because for some strange reason you can't face up somebody in defense. If there's a reason for this, let me know, guys. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's Yugioh Pro. I don't know if the rules got changed. Please let me know in the comments. Like, obviously, I want to improve. But yeah, so this is kind of where we're stuck now. Waiting for him to basically just take me out of the game. We do have a few more chances of coming back from this, but outlook not so good. So my effects have been deactivated, and that's it. So I'm going to activate this. Bring out Pantheonism. Anything would have done. This goes on the field, instantly gets destroyed because a turn is a turn and not a round, which is strange. I would have thought it'd be 1 turn rather than that, but there we go. Wording is wording. Congratulate the guy for having a good game where basically it was 10 turns of me not being able to do anything, and it took him 10 turns to beat me. So that is the end of this. So what did we learn from this episode today? Number 1, god damn if I was going to have to duel. Number 2, we really need to start looking at getting the rest of those cards for the deck. Pulling out the same card 3 times in a row was a big no-no. So, with your help, hopefully we can track down what cards we need next, and we can go from there. And then number 3, need to practice. Need to really put some effort in. Need to really run some games. But until then, I'll see you in the next episode of Sealed Only Monarchs. So, this is the part of the video where I give you guys a shout out. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing for me. And if you'd like to see your name here in the future, make sure that I can see you subscribe to this channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.